This is VA3EWV, Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor. The time is now, you're late, 8:04 a.m. Hey Rick, how's it going out there this morning? VA3KCB, how you doing today, over?
Well, I'm doing mighty fine. I was going to make a comment, but I bit my lip. Weather down here is 16 degrees Celsius. The river is calm as glass, and it's nice to see the other side of the river. The trees all changing color, and there's no rain.
Thank you for the check-in, and thank you for the weather forecast this morning there. Yeah, I'm about 5 minutes late today. I was trying to get WinLink working. It's a program used in emergency situations, and I had a guy on Facebook trying to help me get that sorted out there, and lost track of time. Anyway, this is VA3EWV with On the Air with VA3EWV. This beautiful Thursday morning. Looking out the window here, I see that my driveway is wet. That's how I do my weather. If the driveway's wet, we have rain. If the driveway didn't have rain. Anyway, it's 15 degrees outside here at St. Andrews West. Humidity 89%. Looks like we have a 75% chance of rain here. I have some little clouds showing on my weather thing there. Saying we're supposed to get a high of 19 and a low of 14. Yesterday was really nice. I went outside to take the trash out yesterday. And I was like, wow, it's warm out. And it stayed like that for the rest of the day. Today, I don't have the trash out. And the day is actually trash day. Anyway, this is Throwback Thursday. Because I'm just coming up with something fun. And we're taking check-ins this morning. We've already had Rick there waiting, VA3KCB. Looking for number 2. Could that be you? VA3EWV listening. Okay, nothing heard. Anyway, Rick, we had a great time last night. I had got to have some dinner there with John before the meeting. We showed up at the restaurant like at 5:30 or whatever, and it gave us a lot of time to have, just a good meal, let everything settle before we headed to the club meeting there. And it was so nice to see so many people there. The room was packed, and so was the internet. So, I mean, that thing is growing like a weed. Did you have fun last night, over?
Yeah, I did. And like you said, I think we're going to have to look at using the bigger room next time. I don't know exactly how many people there was, but I know there was, I think, 17 people around the table, and there was about 5 on the net, so over 20 members participated. Very interesting topic. Let me just roll this. And like you have said very often, if you do a lot of listening, you do a lot of learning. And I need a lot of learning because I've forgotten so much over 25 years of being off the radio that to me it's like a little kid in a candy store just for knowledge.
Well, isn't that the truth? We had a new guest there last night, and one of the things I heard Earl say was V3IP. He said, "Hey, when's the last time you were around the radio?" And I forget the exact time frame, but it was like 20 or 30 years. And he's like, "Oh, see, well, we didn't have FT8, 30 years ago. We didn't have DMR 30 years ago, right?" So this hobby is growing by leaps and bounds, and as we're talking, there's probably even newer stuff coming out as we speak. Over.
Oh, without a doubt. And some of us are so far behind. I'm not really too sure if we're going to catch up to the technology. I'm pretty intrigued with. I haven't done any research on FT8, but I do see Rob, ARF, when he's online working the FT8, and I find
Well, we'll definitely have to wait for him to get out there and talk about that. I know I'm scheduled. I've been a little busy here, and he's been a little busy too. But I do have scheduled with him, and it was confirmed for me to come over and do an interview with him. I know he did one for the club. He did it like we did the show and tell. But I'm going to be doing an interview with him. You know, that doesn't sound, I don't want to make it sound like a lot. It's just like, what's your name, what's your call sign, how long you've been a ham. Same stuff you put on QRZ, right? And now that he's got his system set up, because when I first went over, when I had the camera, I had to keep moving from one shoulder to the next shoulder as he was trying to describe it. Now he's reshuffled his ham shack, and he has the two monitors together. So when I go over next time, he'll be able to explain that stuff. So I have no idea. We can definitely wait for him to get with that one. And speaking of that, it's about 8:11 now. It's time to take a pause for the calls and see if we have any more traffic out there. We're looking for number 2. Could that be you on the air with VA3EWV? All right, nothing heard. We're going to keep on with the keeping on. Yeah, so I don't know if you have to have that, but I know that there are several programs that are just on the internet, and you know, it's listening to something. So I don't know if it's going through the radio to that. And if I had to guess, that's what it's doing. But you know what it reminds me of, Rick? I'll tell you. Let me just get my thought together here right quick, and I'll tell you what it reminds me of. So when I look at FT8, it reminds me of a mobility type program. You know, sometimes people have mobility issues or they have different handicaps and stuff like that. When I went to his house, that would be the perfect thing for a person that couldn't talk, because you're doing no talking. So when I look at that program, I'm like, there was a ham out there that probably could not speak, and you see all these countries coming in down the screen, like he was saying, because last night he said, oh, look, there's a such and such place, and it's in purple. I haven't worked that before, right? So now, without using your voice, you know, you can see the place that you want to go because you have your grids that are empty. Oh, I need that grid. I'm going to double click on that. And then, because he has like 2 programs working at the same time. When he double clicks on it, that brings it in. And then it's automated where it has like 8 spots. And I'll have more on that later. But it has like 8 spots. And in each line it says like, you know how we get on, we say our call sign and all this kind of stuff. And then when we get a QSO, we say our 73 and all this kind of stuff like that. So that thing's automated to do just that. So when he clicks on it, and then they say, yep, I hear you, then the program takes in, it does all the stuff in the background, it even populates your tracking thing, and then you just have to press confirm, then it puts it all in there. So I'm like, that was perfect for someone with a speaking handicap or something like that, you know?
Okay, I got a good visual on how that works. It's interesting, very interesting. I'm surprised. We must have a lot of sandy baggers in this morning. Maybe everybody out-talked themselves last night at the meeting.
They'll probably sleep it in, like I was doing this morning, but I wasn't sleeping in. I was working on this program, and I'm still trying to get it installed. Yeah, the program that I'm installing this morning is, like I said, it's for the emergency broadcasting stuff. It's called WinLink, so it's an email that you can use. So when all heck breaks loose, and you need to send emergency messages, you can send it, using your computer and a radio, okay? So what's happening, though, it has so many parts. I needed to download 3 programs for this thing to work. One called WinLink Express, another one called Vara FM, and then I also had to download a 3rd program that's called Sound Modem. So that's why I was late this morning, because you're trying to get those three things to go, and my radio can connect to my computer. So that's the fourth thing. But when all heck breaks loose and I'm sitting in some disaster recovery area, and a person says, "Hey, you need to send an email to the chief, send an email to the chief of police," I'll be able to do that. Now, will I ever have to probably use that in real life? I'm hoping not. But I'm still training on it and downloading it and all that stuff. So if the time does come, I'll be ready. And when they have that meeting in November, I'm definitely going to try to make an effort to go to that one, the one they were talking about last night.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess now the question is, if we had a disaster and everything, we wouldn't have internet. That would be down, and let's assume the power is down, so you're going to need backup systems, like batteries. If you lost power in the house right now, I guess your house, my understanding is under solar power to a point, I believe.
Oh yeah, and that's why people are building all those systems and stuff like that. We're going to take another pause for the cause. I guess they should call this one. Remember I was saying tongue-tied Tuesday because we couldn't even get a sentence? This is, I call it Throwback Thursday, so people are probably throwing the covers back on them there. Anyway, this is VA3EWV. We're having some fun here this morning. Rick's not going to be able to talk for that long. Is anybody else out there wanting to check in? Please come down. This might be a quick one for us, Rick. I'm going to give you one more example. You don't have to even respond on this one. But that was the FT8. So we talked a little bit about that, and what that reminds me of is the DMR stuff. Now, with FT8, you look at a screen and you see all these contacts cascading down the page. And then you can go and pick from those contacts. You can actually be selective on who you talk to and stuff like that. And once you get the contact, you try to make it back and forth, etc. On the DMR thing, I was given a web page. It's kind of like the SDR dongle that everybody's getting. So it's like now you're working hand in hand with stuff, because it's nice to have the SDR dongle, and I know you're just getting to know yours and playing around with that. But for people who are watching, because we do have 2 people watching on Facebook now, when I click on hoseline.com, it brings up all of these different places where people are talking across the world. And then with my radio that's not attached to that, I can actually look at where I want to go on the map, because right now, for example, there's a person in Spain. So what I've been doing, I'll double click on Spain, and I can hear them talking, and if they're speaking in English, I can go up in there and, when the time comes, I can break in and then talk to that person. Because I've never had a contact in Spain yet, right? So it makes it kind of like easier. I think.
Buenas tardes.
Well, you can tell that's Spanish. But anyway, see, they're talking there in the background. Anyway, so that's why I like that too, because it's kind of like the SDR dongle, kind of like the FT8. You can go out on the computer, look for what you need, or who you want to talk to, and then come back on the radio and reach out to them. So that's pretty fun. Rick, if we don't have any more check-ins, we're going to close this one off pretty early today, and then I'll see everybody tomorrow. This is VA3EWV on the air with our Throwback Thursday. Looking for check-ins? If that's you, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. Rick, do you have anything to add before we close this one down today?
No, I really don't. Other than I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow for breakfast. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The 3KTV, we're clear.
When you say tomorrow for breakfast, today is Thursday. Are you saying there's a club breakfast tomorrow or something like that, or just a couple people hanging out for breakfast? Over.
Oh shoot, I told the nerdist I got my days wrong. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning on this channel. It's Saturday, it's the breakfast. My apologies.
All right, Rick, have a good rest of your day, and this is VA3EWV monitoring.
I couldn't respond to the other correspondent 280 Tango Mike Charlie. Anyway, my name is Ivo. I'm located in Bulgaria. Goedenavond. Over.
Go ahead, this is VA3EWV. I can hear you in there. You're back off in the distance, I can hear you. Come on in.
You sure you can hear me, Ernest? Just on the show here.
Yep, I can definitely hear you loud and clear. I just got half of the transmission. I was listening to a guy in Bulgaria. Hit me with your call sign again, please.
My call sign is Victor Echo 3 X-ray India.
Oh, okay, we got Jim here. Jim, I'm usually talking to you on DMR. I don't think I've talked to you on this frequency before, have I? Yeah, because I thought I recognized the voice, but, that's the beautiful thing about DMR. When you have somebody and you're talking on DMR, you either have them or you don't, right? But no, you're sounding pretty good this morning. Good to have you in there. And you're up, well, you probably haven't gone to bed yet, but it's pretty early for you to be on the net too, eh?
I just had a call that I am delivering pending in the next couple of hours. I'm up. But yeah, are the club dues being collected now, or get any notice on that?
Yeah, they are still doing club dues now. They're still looking for new members. And some good news for you, by the way. I was at the club meeting last night, and they said if you join after June, you don't have to pay the full cost of it. So there's, if it's before June, it's the full cost. If it's after June, it's reduced price. I can get that information to you. And also, if you're a member of RAC, it's even reduced more. So I went that route. I joined Radio Amateurs of Canada, and I got my dues, so I didn't have to pay the full amount. So, if you're going to join, join after June. It'll be less on your pocketbook, over. VA3KCB, if you're still out there, Rick, if you're still out there, what did you have to pay? I think you joined after June, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. $20. I'm a non-RAC member. It was $20.
Well, there you have it, VE3XID. It's $20 if you're a non-RAC member, and I think they might knock it down a little bit more from there. I should have been paying attention last night because Roger actually said what it was. I'm not sure if it was $5 extra or something like that, but I don't want to quote that over the air and be wrong. But anyway, Jim, I will. I can get that form sent to you, by the way, in email, and you can just fill it out and send it back in, and that'll be it.
I guess you're not hearing very
Okay, gotcha. So you are already a member and you've been paying $30. And I did think I heard you say that you already are a RAC member, right? Yeah, exactly. You know, we have a lot of people now. You know, I know that when I came along, it was right after COVID. So there was a big push to get people back on the air. And I think this club has done a really good job at that, for sure. I mean, on any given day, on any given weekend, you got somebody, putting up an antenna, getting something tweaked, modified, more people joining, more people being interested in the hobby. That's for sure. I tell you, we got it covered here. If you want to be on the radio, this is the place to be. VA3EWV. Yeah, Jim. We don't have our D-Star repeater here anymore. I've been able to connect to the one in Covey Hill, which is great. I was just gifted a D-Star radio, but being a new ham, you're I'm interested in the old stuff, the new stuff, and since I was given the radio, I'm trying to get it on. It's about 8 or 10 steps to get everything sorted out, and I keep getting stuck at steps number 7. But I'm hoping to get that sorted out one day. Maybe I'll find somebody that can help me get that program, and then I'll have another avenue to get on. Anyway, you guys are on the air with VA3EWV on this Throwback Thursday. And we've had 2 check-ins this morning. It's 8:27. Looking for number 3, could that be you? VA3EWV listening. I think I got that call sign right. Victor Echo 3, Victor Whiskey Bravo. Come on in.
Good morning. Not much time for this morning yet. I'm just waking up, so thought I'd check in and say hello. Out to your numbers. I'll be listening for a little bit.
And we appreciate you getting in there, Becca, the VE3 Volkswagen Bug. It's always good to hear you in there. And the thing I like about that is we're getting people logging in from all over. You're not in Cornwall, that's for sure, or the Ottawa area. Are you joining us via EchoLink this morning?
I am on EchoLink on my phone. I was on that last night on the way home in Montana, Billings, Montana, which was kind of interesting. I'm in the city of Brantford, so a few miles away.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to hear you guys up in there. I used the shoes off of EchoLink. When I was down south visiting my mom and dad, I was able to log in back here in Cornwall and participate in the nets and stuff like that. And I like the fact that we have so many repeaters, and they all have so many functions. So we have fusion repeaters, DMR repeaters, you name it. We got APRS repeaters. So we can get out around here, that's for sure. Anyway, thank you for being in there, Beck. We're all waking up a little slow this morning. This is VA3EWV taking check-ins. Looking for number 4. Could that be you? Italy. Oh, Poland. Let's see what they're doing in Poland. Nothing in France. Nothing in the Netherlands. Nothing worldwide. VA3KCB, this is the stuff I just wanted to add. You're asking about power and internet and all that stuff like that. So, a lot of people, there's a couple people in the club. I know Steve, of course I forget his call sign off the top of my head. And I think that VE3PRY is getting something set up like that too. They have these like go boxes or something like that. I don't want to misquote either one of those people, but I think they're trying to get their little situations where they can, like, you know, grab and go. And I know Steve's has a battery in it and stuff like that. I was working out some stuff with Rick, VA3 Echo Victor. I have 2 solar panels that you guys have seen me post stuff with that. That's running all my lights. I got a couple of extra batteries now. And so my second project, I have 2 other solar panels that I'm not using. I'm going to take those, put them right by my shack, because I've seen Rick with the same type of setup at his house. But I'm going to put the solar panels outside, run the wiring inside the house here, and have the batteries under my table here on my shack with my inverter. And if I have any power loss or anything like that, even though I have a generator, a big Generac generator, I think it's 21 kilowatts or something like that. But even if I don't want to run that, I'll still be able to run my shack off of battery power. Over.
Copy that. I have a backup system I've had in place since I actually set up. I have 3 solar panels. They're not hooked up right now. I've got a big inverter. But right now I have a battery in my shack. The battery from my motorcycle. And I upgraded the battery. When I bought the bike, the battery was perfect. But too much money, I suppose. I ended up buying a better battery. So now I have that with a tender on it, a battery tender. So I do have 12-volt backup. It won't last very long with the stuff that I'm using it for, but I know it'll give me about 8 hours of monitoring, maybe 24.
I think the only thing I have to figure out now, I know I don't have a problem with the power or the battery stuff. I got that all under control. I have the mobile radios and I have various different antennas, so in the time of need, I can get that stuff all sorted out. It won't take me a long time to get everything going because I don't have a lot of stuff. The question about the cell or how to get into the internet, that's going to be one thing. Now, again, this is where you need a Rob or a Doug to help out, because if I'm not mistaken, there's sometimes that I can go from a repeater that's not connected to the internet, go into that repeater, it transmits to another repeater, right? And that repeater might have the internet. Now, that may be poppycock, but I think that I've seen some application where that can happen. Because I was using, I use APRS, and I'm not sure what part of the internet it uses, but I do believe that I can bounce from one repeater to the next one, and then it gets its connection from that. But that's something I'm going to look into, because that's a good question, you know? Because if cell tower, I know that there's more than one cell tower in our area, you know, so if something happens to that particular cell tower, what's going to happen to make you bridge the gap, right? So that's something to look into. That's why I'm fascinated about going to this other emergency thing in a week or so. Anyway, this is VA3EWV on the air. Look for check-ins. We've had 3 this morning, VA3KCB, V3XID, And VE3 Volkswagen Bug. Could you be number 4? Please come now.
VA3ARF.
Good morning, Rob. How you doing today? VE3ARF, come on in.
Good morning, Ernest and Rick, and I'm not sure of I think it was James, and I'm not sure of the other fellow's name. Yeah, I'm not an expert on that, what you were just asking, but I'm pretty sure that the APRS one, I think the P in APRS is for packet radio, so I'm not, that would be how they connect. In the old days, there was a mode we called packet radio, and they connect from one node to another, and the actual repeater that we're on now, VE3PGC, the PGC stood for Packet Group Cornwall. And Eric Mess, who did all this, was really into packet radio at the back. He was kind of one of the founding guys of packet radio. Anyway, V3ARF.
Rob, before you get away too, we have a quick question before phone calls or other things. We know you're mobile and heading toward work. Rick had a question this morning, VA3KCB. It's a small question, but I didn't know the answer. I'm pretty sure you can answer it quite quickly and efficiently. VA3KCB, could you come back with your question since Rob is on the air? Over.
Oh, geez, what was the question? I think it had to do with FT8. Is there a program where you can install on your computer for the FT8 without having an external antenna? Oh, I see. So, like, just to receive it, like, through, no, that I don't know of anybody that's doing that. Portals on the internet that you can watch somebody else doing it. I'm sure there is, because, guys are clever. But like, you might be able to watch somebody else doing it in live time, but to do it yourself without an antenna. I mean, when you're saying without an antenna, you mean like without a big antenna, but you still got like a radio, right, receiving it? Yeah, I guess the question was on one of your screens, not your screen where it showed where all the people were in different groups, and you were monitoring who's in each particular zone or cell. Is it the antenna that's bringing that information in? Oh, okay, yeah, no, the one side of the screen was my grid tracker. So what that is the actual grid squares that I've worked in the past, and it comes from my logbook and the logbook of the world. So that one just tells me, like, it fills in with a red square, so it says, like PM85 in Japan. Oh, I already have that one, so if I might just avoid, like, there's about 5 guys on there from Japan, and they're all in PM85, and there's another one from PM42. Well, I go, I need 42, so that's what that one's for. Okay, copy that. I'll wait till I get the end-fed wire up, and then I should be able to monitor some of that stuff, hopefully. Oh, I'm sure you will, even if you just have a receiving station. It's fun to watch, And that's FT8. There's also FT4. That's as soon as you click the button on in the program, it shows you the frequencies to tune into to go to listen there. Okay, perfect. Question has been answered, Ernest. I made that sound very easy, but I understand a little bit better now.
Hey, Rob, mine on that same thing, if you got a few more seconds, you still there?
I will have a few seconds today. I'm not mobile.
All right, awesome. So my question was this. Now we know that the one thing is just your monitoring. Okay, so that's totally separate. That's disconnected, but all for your logging only. So my question was, since we know we see the FT8 program on the screen, I was wondering if it was something like SDR dongle in something like myhose.com that I look for Brandmeister. So is that screen something that's being generated from the computer or from the internet, and then it's tied into your radio, and then your radio is doing all the broadcasting? Or is that program downloaded on your computer, but you have to have a radio to tie into that program for it to work? Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And the second one is the true one. The program, like you could be on a laptop, right? It's just, it goes to the radio through interface, and it uses the sound card in the computer, and that's all it's using. There's no internet involved. You can do this independent of the internet. You could drive up north where there's no internet with a laptop computer and your radio and sit in your car and do FT8. It's not internet based. So all that the computer does is with the sound card is make the tone that you need to send and decode the tones that you're hearing on the radio. So if you tune into an FT8 frequency, you're going to hear a bunch of tones, and that's what it is. So that the internet is only the gravy, the fun part of it, where we get to get all of the identifications and stuff.
Whoa, mind blown. Okay, I heard what you said. Now I'm going to just say it back to you. What kind of sorcery are you talking about when you say it's not good? Because if you say FT8 to people, especially, local hams around here, they go, oh, well, that's internet-based, and I don't want to have anything to do with the internet. So I was like, wait a minute. If you're saying that you can take a laptop just for your... Because you need a laptop, I guess, for the program itself, the FT8 program. You need a radio with an antenna. But none of that stuff's connected to the internet. I can go to, backyard Canada with a laptop, my radio, my little battery, my antenna, get up there, do FT8 and all that stuff. Not connected to the internet. The only thing that's internet based is if I want my logging thing to log it into the whatever, or like automatically, right?
That is correct. That's all the gravy stuff that I've done. The stuff that, the alternative would be to come back from my little excursion and then just connect to the internet and upload the logbook information, which is also doesn't take long. But the way I do it, it's instantaneous, right? Like I don't even have to upload it to QRZ. It's actually happening in real time, and that's the only internet portion. That's not even my radio connected to the internet. It's just my computer's on the net, and I've intranetted the programs so that they're working together, so that they have like ports on them that send the information to other programs that are connected to the internet. But the actual FT8 is independent. I actually have planned. I would like to go to the next grid north of us, FN26, and operate some FN26 FT8 sometime on 6 meters in the summer, because no one's there. There's only one grid north of us up in not Saint-Javille, what do they call it now? Tremblant, that area, and I could be on a grid that everybody needs.
Well, it looks like it's going to be road trip time next summer. I'll go hop in a van, SUV or something, head out and get these grids done. I'm bound and determined to be doing some POTA before the winter. I don't care if it's winter time, but that's going to be something I'm going to be doing. The park's on there for sure. And if I know you can roll around the different grids, to do this stuff, the reason, let me just pause for a second. When I grew up, let's laugh for a second. Not when I grew up. If I go back 8-9 years ago, something happened where I could do something with my kids that they thought was great. It was called Pokemon Go, right? So it doesn't happen a lot, but there are times when something comes out that gets the whole family involved, young or old. So my mother-in-law, who was in her 80s, myself, my young kids, grandkids, were out all over Ottawa walking, getting exercise, looking for this Pokemon Go. We're all walking around with cell phones in our hands looking for Pokemon Go. These things like FT8 to me is the same thing as Pokemon Go. Fox hunts are the same thing to me as Pokemon Go, right? Because you're out there looking for something to get and you're filling out a grid. So if you say it in today's terms, I think we'd have a lot more people out there interested in fox hunts. And we just say, oh, it's like Pokemon Go. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, let's go do that. Anyway, back over to you, Rob, VA3EWV.
I know a lot of people think that digital equates to internet, and there were digital modes. I mean, like, you want to know something, and this is the absolute truth. Morse code is the original digital. It's a digital mode. Everybody, like, ignores the fact that CW is digital. You know, so, anyway, I know there's a lot of people who are confusing. There's even a lot of old-timers in ham radio that are, FT8, FT8. It's not internet-based. There's just as much skill for a guy searching for the country. There's so many things you can do in it. If you just want to hunt counties, or you just want to hunt POTUS stations, or volunteers on the air stations, or IOTA, which is islands on the air. You just want to look for counties or states or countries. Everything's still there, just like on the other modes on amateur radio. So it's not no black magic. V3A.
Okay, folks, the time is now 8:46 a.m. On this wonderful Thursday morning here in St. Andrews. You're on the air with VA3EWV and my buddies. Today is Throwback Thursday, but we're not throwing anything back. Hopefully some people can throw back those sheets and get out of bed this morning. We've had some good times already. We've had, like I said, 47 minutes of talking. We've had VA3KCB, VA3XID on the handheld, VA3VWV, Volkswagen Bug, VA3ARF, and we're looking for number 5. Could that be you? VA3EWV listening. Hey, Rob, what I'm planning on making, I have to just find a razor. I saw a little comic strip that was posted on my Facebook group there, and it was from Superboy, and you know they're making the Morse code thing there from a razor blade, a safety pin, and I'm like, what? And I bet you all kind of people were making that when they were growing up, right, and sticking it on there. So I was like, you know what? That's probably something that I could do, because start with something small like that and see if I can get it to doing a little code. And you know what? That thing still was standing there. I have it now. The Razor Blade Radio. This amazing simple radio will receive local broadcasts, costs almost nothing, and is very simple to make. So it's got 6 steps. 6 steps, you're up and running. And the cool thing about that, there's not even a tone on CW, right? So you can still make this. I wish they had it was from BC Comics. I wish they had the date on that article so I could see what the date was on it. But I'm like, that's something that has last the test of time. CW, eh?
Exactly, and it'll always be there if people know it. I saw an interesting movie once where they thought he was a soldier, and he was injured in battle, and he just lay like a piece of meat on a bed until someone noticed him moving his head in a certain way. And like one of the nurses knew Morse code, and she's like, "Oh my God, I think he's talking to me in Morse code." He tilts his head, with dots and dashes. I call them tits and dogs, but anyway. So yeah, so it's a way to communicate.
Yeah, I think we all seen our share movies like that. I came up during the Cold War, as many people did, in the States, and I was always watching shows like Baba Black Sheep, Hogan's Heroes, MASH, talking about Throwback Thursdays. For you guys remember those shows. But I remember some news thing came out one time. Maybe it was a TV show. But I remember that there was something happened where a guy was, being held hostage, and he was sitting there blinking Morse code, telling people what the deal was, and they came and rescued him. So I don't know if that was in real life or on a movie, but I do clearly remember something happening like that. Over.
Yes, I do recall.
VE3HCR was encouraging me last night. He says, you know what? You guys are studying and studying and studying and not getting really any ground, trying to get your HF privileges. Just go do Morse code. He goes, sit there and do your Morse code, get your 5 or 6 words a minute or something like that. You know, quit all that crying and get to it. Learn your Morse code. And then boom, you're on your HF, and then you can learn just like we're learning here. You know, and the funny thing, Hunter had me laughing my head off the other day when I was talking to the people out in Iroquois on their net. They were like, we can't hear you guys, you know, but you guys are always getting into our repeater. So I wrote on my web page or something like that, I said, I wonder if, because we're up the hill and they're down the hill and the downhill and up the hill, and Hunter came in, he's like, it has nothing to do with hills, Ernest. It has to do with blah, 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 right? But, you know, I learned something, because I'm like, why can't they get all of us? But what I realized was, to me, the only repeater that exists in our area is PGC. I wasn't thinking about SVC. That's the main repeater. If I had any type of decision-making thing, we would still use SVC, but that would be the second repeater we went to on our Monday night chats. I would always start with PGC because it has so many opportunities for people to connect. So I'll do PGC first with the AllStar net, with the EchoLink, with blah, 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 blah. Then I'll go to SVC, and then, you know, in the net on that one, right? Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Maybe one day, you know, we can have a vote on that. Anyway, we've had 4 check-ins looking for number 5. Could that be you? Before we finish today's net, VA3EWV listening. Okay, nothing here. We're going to do a little bit of an open mic. Does anybody have any comments or anything they want to add before we finish the net today?
Ernest, did you manage to communicate with Iroquois, and what repeater did you use?
Oh yeah, I'm on the Iroquois net all the time now. So the Iroquois one is on our page here, our page that we have on our svrc.ca. And where is it? I know I talk on it, but I got the thing from here. It'll come up to me when I, oh, here it is. VE3IRO 145.290. They have a Yaesu CFM Fusion, and they have an IRLP node 2091. Yeah, so that's what they have. So if you have a Fusion radio, you can get on to them as well.
I know when I programmed my mobile at home with the AGIC, and I tried when it was quiet, my radio will break the squelch, but I've never talked on it, and I have heard their net one time. That was the one time I tuned it in anyway.
Yeah, they can be very quick, by the way. I love doing net control, obviously. You guys have heard me say it multiple times. When I heard VE3IMP leading the net when they invited me over to a shack, I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And, you know, if you want to do something very well, in my opinion, you have to go listen to other people do it, right? So that's why I listen to the Trans-Canada net, the Procom net, the Covey Hill net, the Iroquois net, the blah, 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 blah net, right? And the one that I have enjoyed the most so far is the one from Covey Hill. Not taken away from any other things, they are a conversational net. The other nets, in my opinion, are check-in nets, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because there's a net that happens on Wednesday nights, and I was finally able to get into that. We had the wrong tones on our sheet. I don't want to say the wrong tones, but we found out, B3, Echo Victor and I, that thing actually has like 3 or 4 different tones on it. But now that I'm in that one, when they do their net on Wednesday nights, sometimes in 9 minutes, the net's done. They've had like 9 or 10 check-ins and it's done. They just go, hello, this is blah, 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 checking into the net. And then they just rattle off their names one by one. And it's quick. It's like 8 or 9 minutes and then it's gone. So if you log on like I did this morning, 6-7 minutes late, the net's over with, eh?
Victor.
Go ahead, please.
This is VA3EWV. Rick. For mobile use, you're talking about 3 repeaters and with 5 different tones. Anyways, the tone for 225, which is marked down as 123, if I remember right. If anybody is using a mobile or a base station at home and switch to 77, which nobody has put up on our sheets yet, but basically 77 of the 3 repeaters is the strongest. It's excellent with your hands. I have an aluminum siding house. I can trip that repeater from inside my house. Maybe it's because it's going through the living room window pointed south. But anyways, just goes to show you, and that repeater is 50 miles away, and you can use it on handset, outside. Probably not as effective, but at mobile works very nice all around Cornwall. So the 123 repeater is the medium power repeater. And then there's another which goes along with the 154 tone. And then there's the weakest one of them all, which is a 100 tone. No, that's a lie. I'm getting confused. I'll have to check up which one it was. But there's another tone, 110.9, and there's a tone 100. So I think 100 goes along with the 123 and the 154. And then the 110.9 is coincidentally ours, but that's the weaker. So basically got 3 machines working on the same frequency, but all accessible with different tones. So if you use .7 or the 77 tone, you'll get the strongest of them all over.
Exactly. Hey, was you ever able to send the email to those folks to see what the deal was, or are you still working on that?
You know what? Thanks for reminding me. Forgot all about that. That's something I guess I should do. I need to write down these things and then, with sticky pad notes, and then I can hang them off my eyebrows or my forehead or something.
Rick, you made me spit all over my screen when you said stick them to your eyebrows. I've heard of sticking stuff to your forehead. They're looking like blinds coming down. Anyway, yeah. Hey, you know what? We might check that. Maybe tomorrow, whoever's here, maybe we can check that and do 77. So for all who are listening, that's the WB2RYB repeater. WB2RYB repeater, 147.225. That's in Malone, New York. And like I said, for 3 months I was trying to get a hold of them, and they're so fast with their net, The guy says, okay, we're taking check-ins for the da-da-da-da-da, please come now. And the way they do their check-ins, which is fascinating to me, watch this. Here's how they do it. They go, this is. So they go, this is, and then they're told to unkey. After they say this is, they need to let off the key. And the guy says he wants people to do that in case there are people that are doubling. So I'm on all these nets, like 6 or 7 nets I listen to, and you'll sometimes hear people talking at the same time. So the net control has a hard time of figuring it out. But they just go, this is VA3EWV, right? They give that little pause in there. But there's nets that last long, like the Covey Hill net. That thing can go, when I first heard it, it was like an hour and a half because he had 3 rounds plus announcements plus all this other stuff, Speaking of, I'm going to make a proposal at our next group meeting that anything over an hour, we all need a break, right? So I think that, if you're going over an hour, you need a little coffee break, a little pee break, and then you get back to it. My booty was numb by the time we got off of the meeting yesterday. Over. Oh, anyway, that brings us to to the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. We've had some good talking there this morning. Rick and I, the other Rick, VA3KCB, and I thought we were going to be doing a duet this morning. Thank you, though, VA3KCB, VE3XID, VE3WV, VA3ARF, VA3 Echo Victor, for all those that are listening. And also for Kimberly, our newest ham. She's waiting for her papers to come in, VE3AAK. So congratulations on you getting your basic with honors, and we can't wait to hear you on the air. Any final comments before we close? Please come now.
Aaron, does she have a rate yet for the repeaters?
Yes, she got a ICOM radio, and she's been programming that up as she waits for her licenses and stuff like that. And she has an antenna. I'm going to look for the picture now. But she posted a picture of her new rig and her antenna. And it's an HF rig, by the way. So she's not going to be able to talk to us here. It's an ICOM 705. I'm looking at the picture now. Yeah, and I think she's at a good location too, because I see the picture in the background. I see a big bridge with two, it's a suspended bridge with two huge, whatever things there. So I'm not sure where she lives, but a lot of people are starting to join us here and stuff like that, just like Becca there by EchoLink. We have 3 or 4 people now joining us on EchoLink there to get into this this awesomeness. Anyway, gang, it's 9 o'clock. I gotta get my trash out. We're gonna see all you guys on tomorrow. We appreciate all the support and all the help. And also on the YouTube channel, I'm up to 89 people who have subscribed to the channel. That's pretty good after 3 weeks having a YouTube channel. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of your day. This is VA3EWV. Return this repeater to its normal operating use. We'll see you tomorrow. 7-3. All right. That was a really good net there, folks. Let's see how many people we are up at on our YouTube channel. Okay. Oh no, we're at 80 subscribers. So we are at 80 subscribers. That's pretty good. Okay. Let's see, get this thing. What are we on here? Like headphones or something?
You okay?
Oh, that's...
You okay?
Hose line is still going. All right. Rob. Okay, folks, we've had a good morning this morning. We've had a whole hour of fun there. This morning, talking about everything from FT8 to how to be great. We're going to be seeing you guys tomorrow. This is VA3EWV on the air with our Throwback Thursday. Have a good rest of y'all's day.